You're tuned in to Rebooting Liberty.
Have you ever wanted to have your own radio show? Rebooting Liberty Radio Network currently has openings for live programs. For a very small fee, we will create a show intro, bumper music, and provide technical production for your hour-long show. Email producer@rebootingliberty.com for details. You can find us at live.rebootingliberty.com.
This is the TK Radio Network.
Laugh, laugh!
I believe that a person's moral compass can be determined by how he references free men the right to defend themselves.
Broadcasting live from Batcave number 9, I am your sidekick looking for a Scooby snack, Mr. William Sommers, and with me tonight is a Second Amendment Mystery Machine equivalent, Mr. Peter Gunn.
Wow. You shouldn't have taken that one out before it was done cooking. But it's all right. It's all right.
Tonight's episode is brought to you by Merca Tires. F yeah, get her done.
Merca Tires.
Minnesota number 14, 40 proof of yummy, yummy snark. We have a couple glasses of that tonight. And
Panther, yes.
And by contributors from viewers like you. Welcome to Polite Society. How you doing, Peter?
Doing good. It's been a long week so far.
Yeah, it really kind of has, hasn't it?
Absolutely.
I mean, so many things have happened in just a week. I mean, it's like the whole world just changed. Again.
Goodness.
I wish it would pick a direction and go because it keeps changing directions. Yeah.
Do you ever find that you come up with all these great things? Oh, yeah, this week I'm going to get the Hootsuite notifications out early. I'm going to get this done. I'm going to get that done. And then all of a sudden, it's Thursday night and you haven't done anything.
Yeah, it happens to me every week. Well, no, maybe not me, you, but not. Hey, let's start things off right because, given what's happened in France this week, we got lots to talk about.
Yeah.
And let's have our prayer in commémoration of those in France, right?
Un militia bien réglementé est en nécessaire à l'État libre. Le droit du peuple de détenir et de porter des armes ne sera pas transgressé.
Amen.
Amen.
Sister. I think sister.
And if you know the show, you know what that prayer was. That was
Yeah.
the Second Amendment in French, which is probably the only time those words have ever been said in French.
I think you're probably right. I think this is a first. We should call Guinness. First time the Second Amendment has ever been uttered in French. So, what a tragedy happening over there. I mean, the reaction has been kind of all over the map, as you would suspect. You got the Islamo sort of fascists all going, yay, we killed a bunch of the infidel, and then we've got our government going, no, it's not, they're not Muslims. Let me ask you.
Wait. Somebody in our government said ISIS isn't Muslims.
Yeah. They're saying that they're not Islamic or Muslim. They're not Muslim. It's not Islam.
And
because Islam is a religion of peace. This is some, I don't know, sort of atheistic, agnostic, Protestant movement, I guess. Let me ask you something. Where do these people get off? I mean, I know a lot of people are going to go, oh, well, Obama's a Muslim. No, Obama's not a Muslim. But where does he get off as a non-Muslim telling Muslims who claim to be Muslims doing things in the name of Islam that they're not Muslim? Where does he get off?
Well,
where does he get that authority?
You know what it is? It's the shell game. It's an absolute shell game. What they end up doing is, because if you admit that they're Islamic terrorists, well, then you have to do something about it. You have to respond. You can't let it. But as long as you can play it off as just a couple of crazy people, it's just, it's a well-contained JV team.
I think that the reason why that they're just marching down this death path with just blinders. They got the blinders on. They're like, nothing else matters. The only thing that matters is this perspective that ISIS is not Muslim, Islam is a religion of peace, and nothing else is going to change their mind on this.
And what absolutely, we have a lot of fun on this show, and we poke fun at people and whatnot, but I got to tell you, I'm starting to get actually scared.
You should be.
And for a change, I'm not scared of my own government, not scared of them doing something directly. I'm scared of how stupid they're going to be about this thing.
They're almost doing it by proxy.
Every Democratic presidential candidate is trying to one-up themselves on who's going to make us more vulnerable. Let's just piece this together.
Okay.
132 people were shot and killed or blown up. A couple of them were blown up. Most of them were shot.
I thought it was in the 150s.
It could be.
I'll have to look it up while you're talking.
But anyway, so 130 to 150 people shot and killed, hundreds more injured. Random attacks throughout the city of Paris. And one of the timelines, I think it was the CNN one, they were saying that they were recovering at each of the stops of the restaurants where they were shooting up the restaurants, they were recovering 100 shell casings each.
Yeah.
Okay?
It was 129.
So my question is, you look at that as it was 8 people. 8.
Yeah.
8 of these scum-sucking cowards.
Okay, for the argument.
It's cowardice.
Yeah.
You're shooting up people eating dinner at a restaurant. Okay, let me tell you something. Do you remember when they attacked the USS Cole in Yemen?
Yeah.
Okay, that was a bold move, Cotton. Okay? You're in a little rowboat or motorboat full of explosives taking on a United States destroyer.
Okay.
Now, I'm obviously not happy about the fact that we got attacked. I'm not happy about the fact that American service people lost their lives.
Yeah.
But you have to say, okay, that took cojones. I'm sorry. That thing, shame on us.
I've always had a problem with calling people who do these sort of things coward, because I think we're mistaking cowardice for, there's another word for it. It's a underhanded, low life.
That's why I'm calling it cowardice.
But I don't think coward
You're not a brave warrior for Allah because you murdered innocent people who didn't know they were under attack.
I know
that doesn't make you a brave person.
I know cowards, and cowards would not go shoot up a.
Well, what else do you want to call it? You're not brave.
No, they're not brave.
Okay, the guys in the boat in Yemen who attacked the USS Cole, that was bravery. Okay, while they're our enemy, and I'm not happy about it, I'm not endorsing it, I'm not celebrating it, or anything else I can be accused of down the road. You have to admit, 2 guys in an outboard motorboat with explosives taking on a United States destroyer. There's a certain amount of intestinal fortitude involved there, and
there's a certain amount of intestinal fortitude all over the battleship.
Sure, but
literally,
yeah. Jeez,
sorry,
but and it was a legitimate military target.
Sure,
okay, and again, this is no disrespect to anyone who wears or wore the uniform. I don't want it to be taken the wrong way. My grandfather was a Pearl Harbor vet.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, right after 9/11, the local paper remembered he was a Pearl Harbor vet and called him up to get his reaction on the whole thing. And that was one of the things he said was that, he goes, the Japanese attacked battleships and Army Air Corps bases. Okay. They were attacking legitimate military targets.
Yeah.
They were doing it in marked aircraft. They were soldiers of their country.
Right.
He said there was no mistake who it was. As soon as you saw the planes, you knew who it was. He said, granted, the attack was a sneak attack. He goes, but these guys attacked people who were not in a position to cause them harm back.
Evil's the word that I'm looking for.
But it's cowardice, too. You can have evil and bravery.
Yeah, but what's the qualification for cowardice? I mean, is it the fact that there was no chance of repercussion?
Yes.
But they all died.
And you knew that. They died because they wanted to die.
Right, but they died in the hell.
Entry.
They went up against the police, too, with guns. So they went up against other people with guns.
But they didn't start with the police.
No, of course not. They wanted to inflict as much death as they could.
And who did they kill first?
The unarmed.
Unarmed people who didn't have anything to do with it over a pretext.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's cowardice. It's like if I turn around and start beating the crap out of a 5-year-old. How tough am I?
Okay.
Not very.
You're putting me in an awkward position of having
Why,
to...
you like to beat 5-year-olds?
Well,
okay, I'm sorry.
Depends on how much
we're
of a
not
jerk.
talking about hobbies.
Actually, my nephew, when I was younger, I would put my fist out and say, go ahead and run as hard as you can and whack your head right into my fist. And he would do it. Like the second time, I had to like open my hand and stop him.
Yep.
I was like, I couldn't believe he did it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, we'll do it again. And he wanted to do it again, and I had to open my palm and palm his head.
Jeez.
But you're putting me in the awkward position of almost having to defend the enemy.
Well, you're not defending the enemy, but just think about this thing. How tough a guy do I have to beat a 5-year-old versus walking into a Hell's Angels bar and saying, "What's up, faggots?"
Okay, well, let me
I'm
add to
engaging
that.
in something that is personally dangerous to me, that I stand a very good chance of
Let me
not
ask
coming
you
out.
this, okay? How ballsy do you have to be to go beat up a 5-year-old next to his dad?
Well, that's what I'm saying is that, you beat up a 5-year-old that no one can see you do it, or how personally risky is what you're doing.
Well,
Okay,
they all
you're
died.
hurting somebody else, but they wanted to die.
Yeah,
They wanted to die. They were going to kill themselves anyway, so just go kill yourself.
What about blowing yourself up? Is that
So
cowardice?
why don't you go blow yourself up at a military base?
It wouldn't
why don't
inflict
you
as
go-
much damage.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Why don't you take on somebody who can kill you? Why don't you take on somebody who can fight you back? Now, granted,
What about us bombing Nagasaki?
we're already at war with them.
They're at war with us.
Well, yeah.
So
What's
all
the-
targets are legitimate on that side of the fence, right? You see where I'm going
Okay,
with
well,
this?
I see where you're going with that. But, and again, you're at war with an entire country.
Yeah.
So,
Well, they're at war with the entire world.
Right, and-
the world just doesn't know it yet, which is the sad part.
Well, that's the thing is they got to kind of accept it. And I got to share something with you. I wasn't
Sure.
going to, but I'm going to pull it up here just a second.
Oh, you weren't going to share?
well,
Selfish bastard.
yeah,
Let me grab
I'm
my
kinda
whiskey.
Like that. You grab your whiskey while you're at it. I got attacked. You know how everyone's putting the French tricolor over their Facebook
Yeah.
things?
Yep.
Let me see if I can. I can't get it up here in time. I did not say that. I did not
Here,
say that.
Let me reach for the blue pill. No, wait. You do that later
Yeah, no.
with somebody much better looking than me. You were going to say, faces, colors, flags.
Yeah, it was
Avatars.
my Facebook thing. We got put up the French tricolor on it, and I actually took some heat, and somebody who's usually in our chat, which is probably why they're not here tonight, is about how I'm not supporting France. It's like, because my thought is that we need to come up with something better than just lighting candles. Yes, we need to light candles and tell them that they're not alone.
I think we need
we need to take action, and we're not taking action. That's not what our country is doing.
I think we need to kick the tires and light the fires is what we need to do and get some work out on their ass.
Yeah, and again, it's easy for me to say because I'm past military age. I'm not likely to be the guy flying the jet.
Sure.
And I get that, and I was medically disqualified, so I couldn't do it.
That was a funny typo. Hell and then O. Brave coward, doesn't matter. I want to die for.
Huh.
You want to die for? Sorry, Gunny. I'm sure it came out of your head better than went down on type.
So, it's just absolutely amazing me how we're doing everything we can to make sure that we're going to get attacked.
Yeah.
And there was a point in time where our country would do something like that so that we could justify going back. So this is what I ended up. Let me, like I said, I took some.
While
abuse.
you're looking at that,
Got
let me
it.
lay out a scenario for you that would explain the actions, possibly, of why it is we're almost inviting death. We're saying, "Oh, please come to our country and
destroy us."
And as we all know, the people in Washington, a very prominent person in Washington, the guy up in that big giant White House, he's a very
public housing.
Yeah, the public housing.
Public housing.
Yeah, he's a very good study of theory on how to make people behave a certain way. That is his world. How do you push a society through government action in the direction that you want? And this president understands that a happy and content society will be resistant to change if you create unrest, if you heat up the world you can make it bend more to your liking. And
Okay.
I
get that.
I think that's the direction they're going. Is they're causing unrest because it's during the unrest that you can move a society in the direction that you want it to go.
Oh, sure. I mean, look at the 10 steps to totalitarian. Virginia Woolf posted. The first thing you have to do is invoke a terrifying enemy, internal and external enemy.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
Yep.
most of these things we're working on, but I get the government. I've always studied what is somebody's motivation.
Sure.
Whenever somebody does something weird, I'm like, why would they do that? And I'm trying to say, what do they get out of them? Because humans don't do anything unless there's a reward for them.
Uh-huh.
Okay, we have the snark going because we like how it feels once we've had some.
Speaking of which.
Pardon me.
Oh, yeah. Here. There we go.
There we go.
Well, okay, so the question is...
So here's where my question goes.
Okay.
So the any government, any ruling power, whether we're talking about the post-apocalyptic fight over the rubble or the current state of the government's motivation is always to garner more power for itself.
Yeah.
I get it. More power, more
to
treasure,
grow,
more power, more treasure.
Yeah.
Grow,
What's the two rules of a bureaucracy? Rule number 1 is to ensure the bureaucracy. Rule number 2 is to grow the bureaucracy.
Yeah,
and that's government.
Well, okay, so I get their motivation. When all and one of the things that I've always gotten in the big government liberal progressive thing is gun control is an anathema to them being able to take more power.
Yes.
Because sooner or later they're going to take too much, and it's going to be up to us to resist, and that's why the Second Amendment was put in place in the first place, and that's why it's so damn important.
Sure.
But when I talk to individual people who will not reap the benefit of the bigger government, of the more powerful government, of this stuff, and they're doing stuff that I always assume people will do what is in their own best interest. Even if they don't, it's not necessarily in their own best interest. Like, my oldest son smokes cigarettes.
Yeah.
He smokes cigarettes because he likes smoking cigarettes. I mean, it's not in his best interest, but it's pleasurable. So in that way, it's his best interest to do so.
Yeah, it's what he desires to do, so therefore he does it.
So when you watch these people that are going to come up with these things like, the government needs to take everybody's guns away. Well, what do you think's going to happen when you don't have any way of backing up the Second Amendment anymore? I mean, the Constitution anymore. It's going to get. You can't walk them through that they don't see that this is going to be destructive to themselves.
Well,
what do you do? How do you wake them the hell up?
Unfortunately, I think we're past that. You have to, as hard as it is, everybody that's getting on the boat is on the boat. What you and I are doing here, talking on the radio, we're not convincing anybody. What we're doing is we're trying to keep those who are convinced informed and prepared.
Sure.
Because this ship's going through the tunnel. There's no way around it.
You're picturing the boat from Willy Wonka, aren't you? When you say
I wasn't until just now.
Okay. Anyway, so this is what I ended up writing because
all the little government Oompa Loompas.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's something in there I can't figure out.
Okay.
So anyway, like I said, it just rugged me the wrong way because I didn't have my tricolor on there, and I was saying some other things. I forgot what I said that set them off. But I had to write, apparently it is unclear to some of my friends, so allow me to spell it out. Yes, I support France. I support the free people of Lebanon and Iraq. Oh, you know what it was? Everyone was getting on about, well, nobody said anything about Beirut. Well, yeah, they've been blowing the hell out of each other for as long as I can remember. It's hard to feel bad for them.
If it happens every single day, it's not news. You just know it is. So let me ask you this, okay, to give you an example. How many people were killed in Chicago over the weekend?
Probably about 32 if it tracks normal.
But you don't know because it's already got a track record, so you already know. It's not news, and that's why nobody cares about Beirut. It's not news because we already know.
I like how you put that.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So it's not news that something in Beirut happened. We just assume that it's happened. Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Oompa loompa doopity doo. I have a story about Europe for you.
Nice.
I like it.
Nice.
Sorry, I didn't do it right.
So when something out of the normal happens with Paris, France, I mean, this is not a place where you see this sort of thing.
Haven't for 70 years.
That is news. If you're going to say, well, why aren't we seeing news stories every single day about North Korea killing its people? Because we already know.
I like how you put that. I've been trying to put that into.
I'm a very eloquent man.
Yeah, you are.
Sometimes.
All right, so anyway, this is what I end up having to write. Apparently, it is unclear to some of my friends, so allow me to spell it out. Yes, I support France. I support the Free People, Lebanon, and Iraq. I supported England after 7/7, Madrid after the train bombing, Australia before that, Denmark before that. I support anyone anywhere who is facing death for the simple desire for freedom and peace for their families. I didn't put the tricolor over my profile pic because I really don't know how. And I don't feel like learning to... Really, I'm in trouble for being technologically declined.
Yeah.
You know, I rely on Jaffrey Computer for these things.
They're inept. Jaffrey Computer for all your computer needs.
I have unapologetically supported personal freedom against tyranny and oppression and the human right to protect oneself and family for years. France, Australia, England, and many other countries have spent years eroding the personal freedoms of their citizens and are embracing the dangerously naive position that the answer to Islam is tolerance and understanding. Pointing out that these people, ISIS and the millions of other groups out there, are interested only in killing anyone who does not bow to them is considered Islamophobic, intolerant, and my favorite, hate. Simply saying it publicly in England could land you in jail. Tim Burton, the British talk show host, not the movie producer, was arrested for calling someone a, quote, mendacious grievance-mongering tequila artist.
Say that 10 times fast. I always love that
fast.
one.
That.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, a mendacious grievance-mongering tequila artist. In a Twitter post. He said it in a Twitter post, and they arrested him.
Uh-huh.
That is not a free country.
No, it's not.
Okay, we can pretend England's free, but if they can arrest you for something in a Twitter post, I mean, it wasn't even a threat against somebody.
Nope.
You know, if you said something,
just...
about killing somebody, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
If we want to support France, Lebanon, Syria, we as the free world need to accept that ISIS and their ilk want us all dead or under their control. That is all the understanding we need to have. There are 1.6 billion Muslims in the world. It is estimated that 15 to 20% are radical. Even if it was only 10%, that's 160 million people. Okay, even at 1%, what are you looking at? 16 million.
Math is
That's
hard.
a lot.
Yeah.
To pretend that these recent killings in Paris, Beirut, and Baghdad are not Islamic related is insane.
I almost had to do my Pee Wee Herman impression. Oh,
I'm trying to use the phone.
no. Kilgore saying Takia, Q Pee Wee Herman.
Takia.
Oh, God. You're killing me in the mics.
Yeah, you know why? You know what he got arrested for?
Yes, but what is your snarky answer?
Well, he got that jizya all over.
Oh.
Everything. Somebody called John and tell him I did that. He'd appreciate that. Anyway, let's get back to this thing. So like it or not, accept it or not, ISIS and the other Islamic organizations have declared war on the free world. If we do not fight back as if all of our lives and the lives of our children depend on it, we will be changing the flags on our profile picture a hell of a lot more often. Of course, not all the Muslims want to kill us, and not all the Germans were Nazis. But unless we take the threat seriously, the war will never end, and we will never have peace or safety. Vive la France, vive l'Angleterre, vive les États-Unis, vive la Libye, et plus important, vive la liberté de la terre. Je suis pour la liberté.
And yes, Hatch, I understand that changing your avatar to do the French flag thing, it really doesn't do anything at all. All it does is it's just simply symbolic and makes people feel good from their couch. So I get that too, but there are some people that's all they can do. That you're completely helpless.
I'm not slamming the people for doing it. I'm just saying is that okay, we need to take the next step.
And Angela's doing the tricolored unicorn figures.
Yay!
Okay.
So at some point, this is the kind of thing that just, that commercial now where I don't even remember what it's for, where they just blow the top of their heads off when they realize how easy something is.
Yeah.
This one blows my mind out. Now, this is 2 days ago. 2 days ago in the Washington Times. Now, that's the progressive one, right? It's the Washington Post that's okay?
It's
the other way around.
No, I think they're both kind of scuzzy. And the way I remember is I can hear Mark Levin calling the Washington Times, the Washington Slimes, and the Post, the Compost.
Okay.
Yeah, so they both suck.
Okay.
Apparently.
So, anyway, this is what it is. That Obama says gun control is to be the top issue of the final year. And this came out 2 days ago. The attack in France was 6 days ago.
Yeah.
Now, let's just think that through. You had 8 people, caused all that carnage.
Yeah.
Set all those people looking for answers, investigating, mourning. That's a hell of a lot of bang for your buck.
Yeah.
8 people?
Less than $10,000 it cost them.
Okay.
For that entire operation, $10,000. Think about what it would cost us to pull off an operation like that. It'd be $10,000 a minute A second
for the military?
Yeah, for our military to pull
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. You know what?
So here's the thing. So you've got these guys that can operate low tech, low budget, and get maximum yield. They don't need dirty bombs the way they do their stuff.
Yeah.
Look at all the carnage they cause for this. And
You're
now
absolutely right.
We've got all these, everyone's talking about how to make us more vulnerable. They don't know that that's what they're saying.
Oh, that's you again.
Damn it.
Kill the autoplay. Hey, I got a point. Okay. Yeah, hit the mute button.
I am.
You know what Europe is? Europe is, you remember the dodo bird? Yeah.
Stop.
Autoplay. I think we need to introduce the autoplay inventor to the guy who, we got to send him to the Middle East, I think.
I was going to say, there's a few people in this world that would not mind seeing beheaded, and he's one of them.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there's so many of these things running, I can't cycle through to read the rest of the article.
Europe is the dodo bird.
Yeah.
They have become the hand-fed, defenseless creature that is relied on us. Let's face it, Europe relies on the United States for its defense. So much so that that's why they don't have that's why they have all these universal programs. That's why they have universal health care. That's why they have all these social programs and such a high welfare rate. It's because they don't have to defend themselves. They don't have to spend that money. We spend that money. Not just on us.
Yeah.
We spend it on them. So I feel bad for what's happening in Europe. I really do. I think that they're inviting their executioner. Yes, the inventor of autoplay needs to be appointed to Kim Jong-il's cabinet. As we all know, Kim Jong-il likes to throw his cabinet members up in the air and play skeet with them with anti-aircraft guns.
Really?
Yeah.
That happens?
Yeah, he does. Maybe I'm exaggerating on the throwing them up in the air like skeet, but he feeds them to dogs and everything.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, you looked at me wrong. Feed them to the dogs. He's just like Mr. Evil. So I completely forgot. Oh no, they're inviting their executioner, and they're completely oblivious because they're so set on the premise that people are going to like them if they just like them back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I know I've brought this up before, but my old pal, the commentary dentist, the guy who leaned so left, he walked at 90 degrees. And he was talking, when we were talking about the Newtown shootings and the response to it, he was going on about how, well, these children are coming home every night and crying themselves to sleep and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, but when they start killing people, hug time is over.
Yeah.
I agreed with him 100% about, the sad kids and depression and, whatever. But, can you imagine the SWAT team pushing you in, going, okay, you, up front, go hug them.
So I had a solution. I'm going to run this by you.
Please, I'd like to hear it.
Because, as we all know, our federal government is doing the same thing here. They're trying to import the terrorists into our country. And we've all seen the reports that it's mostly men, fighting-age men,
Sure.
ages 18, military-age men coming...
18 to 35.
Air fingers, quote, refugees.
Uh-huh.
And, of course, we have Pelosi out there today saying, well, Republicans just don't want to save the women and children. Okay, here's my solution.
Only women and children.
Let the women and children, refugees, come here.
Yeah. Of course, they'll sneak them in, too.
Well, I mean, if it's only women and children, there will be no refugees coming here, or nearly none, because the majority of the refugees are fighting-age men, and they're military-age men.
Well, if we keep taking refugees... my head's going in 9 different directions. I mean, we had, not that long ago, like a month ago, there was a big article. Face hugs. There was an article about how Obama was giving 50 tons of ammunition to the Syrian rebels because they were facing a tyrannical government. And that was the exact same reason that a month earlier he was trying to ban green tip 223 ammunition for the same reason.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I trust that the government will do whatever it wants to do for itself. But these other people that are naively trying to hug the bear, what does it take for them to realize that what they're doing is wrong? What would it take to just finally throw the switch that, hey, this isn't a good idea?
I'll tell you exactly what it would take.
What is it going to take? Because I think they won't discover it until they're shot.
Just real quick, though. Yes,
Sure.
Kilgore, we would love to come on your show anytime. You hit me up on Skype. You've got me in your Skype, and we'll be more than happy to come on your show.
Absolutely. I'll go in. Well, actually, wait a minute. I don't think I'd want to be on any show that would have me.
Yeah, that's exactly the type of show it is. So to answer your question, what's it going to take to convince them that what the path that they're taking is wrong? The answer is dying. It's too late. There is no convincing them before it's too late. It's you're looking into the abyss and falling to your death. That's the moment they realize. And even then it's questionable. Even then they may go, well, I must have just done something wrong.
Huh. Yeah. I was watching Frontline on PBS 2 days ago.
Okay. With contributions from viewers like you.
Okay.
Okay.
Exactly. By way of a preference, I was in a hotel that got like 3 channels, and that was one of them.
Oh. The other 2 were paid, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
It was just, everything was, anyway. And there was a Frontline thing on ISIS in Afghanistan. Of course, Frontline's done on particular days. So this was done on the 17th.
Okay.
And they had a Pakistani journalist had put this together, because only a Pakistani Muslim could have gotten this kind of access.
Right.
And he's one of the ones that doesn't think you should be killing everybody in the name of Allah. And I have a lot of African Muslim friends.
Sure.
And I just don't see it in them.
Right.
They are happy to be here. They contribute. They work. Granted, they still do the...
You know who I feel bad for?
Who?
Are all the Muslims that these people are killing.
Oh, yeah.
Granted, there's probably a significant number of them that, given the opportunity, they would do in kind. But Muslims are killing other Muslims, too.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're not Muslim enough.
Right. So let's get back to this show on ISIS.
Yeah.
There were 2 takeaways I got out of this. The guy was following... Do you know what a madrasa is?
I do.
What is it?
It's the sundress you wear on...
Okay. I should have done that. I knew better. I knew better.
No, you didn't.
It's a Islamic... They call it an Islamic religious school. In this case, it's not a school at all.
The madrasa is what I wear when I'm drinking tequila.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
You want to get the jizz off here. Anyway. They were showing lessons being taught at this madrasa at an ISIS school.
Uh-huh.
And there's these kids that are maybe 8 or 9 years old.
Uh-huh.
And basically they just covered the part of Allah wants you to kill everybody who's not us.
Right.
And then it was about the different types of weapons and how to shoot it and this, that, and the other thing. And, and it just hit me in that moment. You just get one of those where your brain just connects something. They're teaching their kids how to kill people.
Yes.
We're teaching our kids to hide under desks and throw cans.
Yeah. Dodo birds.
We're going to die.
There's going to be a significant number of those who are not convinced and will never be convinced who will die, who will suffer tremendously. We're all going to suffer tremendously. Our job, as I said before, is to keep the convinced informed and slightly amused as we work our way through this bottle of Minnesota 14.
I'm going to end up being one of those sandwich board repent the end is nigh guys. I really am.
No, I don't see it. You'll never fit between the sandwich board.
Oh,
that was a burn.
Well, it's the sandwiches that got me to the point where I can't fit between the board.
Hey, you know what we haven't done? We haven't done any headlines.
Really? I thought that's all we were talking about was headlines.
Yeah, let's just divert for just a minute and get off topic and go to some headlines.
Okay.
HatTip2Guns.com. Headline: Las Vegas man indicted for threatening president.
Oh, goodness.
I love this guy. There's a picture of this guy. He's sitting on the hood of his Humvee. He's got his AR on his knee, and he's one of these. You could tell he's the serious America guy. He's not the you and I, America. We're kind of being kind of humorous about it. And no, this is the guy that he'll blood shoot out of his eyes type of guy. And he writes on his looks like Facebook. I'm going to do my voice. You ready? I think we all need to get our guns and shoot all those out on the control of Congressman and Senator Obama. Any survivors? Hang them. Then their dead bodies, hang their dead bodies high for treason. And it just sort of goes on and on and on about this. And they went and arrested him, and he's a dummy, dumb. And,
of course.
You know, you're going to get the people to go, oh, well, he's a right-wing nutjob. Well, he also states, F America. I would place him more in the category of the... What's that guy that shot up that black church? Rufus, the doofus, whatever.
I try not to know.
And the Black Lives, all the anti-America people, this is that guy.
Huh.
Okay, headline, boss uses own cash to save Heckler and Koch. Apparently, Heckler and Koch have gotten themselves in a whole bunch of debt. Apparently, they followed down the same path as Colt Arms and didn't behave very fiscally responsibly, which is hard to do in the past 5 or so years, because being in gun business is pretty good business.
Yeah, I can't understand when I hear the gun companies going out of business, sir.
I'm going to save that one for last. Headline, New Jersey man loses 76 guns over domestic dispute he wasn't part of. His wife's father filed a restraining order against his wife. And so that precludes her from living in a house with any guns, so they came and took all of his. Yeah. If you're in New Jersey, if you're listening to the show and you're in New Jersey, it's time to move to Washington State. Oh, wait. Some people have already done that. Baltimore sees sad homicide milestone with over 300 murders this year. Gee, who would have thought?
But they have gun control. Didn't somebody tell them?
Yeah, they wanted less police action, and they got it. NRA defends against claims it's out of touch with its members. Now, at first, I thought to myself, I can see where you can make the argument the NRA has lost a little bit of touch with us because they gave money to Harry Reid, but that was a while ago. But no, this story is claiming the NRA is out of touch and is basing its opinion on a survey conducted by Center for American Progress.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so I discarded that one. Now, here's the one that I was saving for last. Group. New concerns over terrorism should trigger assault weapons ban. Let that sink in for a second. They want to, because of terrorism in France, where they have no guns, they want to trigger an assault weapons ban here in the United States.
So that we're disarmed when ISIS shows up.
So in the article it says they're calling for a ban of all military-style assault weapons. Here's my question. How many military-style... Yeah,
that's me banging the microphone into my head. Sorry.
How many military style, the key word here is style.
Okay.
Because the civilian population really doesn't have any military weapons. Mm-hmm. We have all semi-automatic, unless you're a class 3. How many military style weapons did the French, the Paris attackers use?
Huh.
None. They didn't.
Gotcha.
They used
military weapons.
They used military weapons. So they want to ban things that look like military weapons here in response to them using actual military weapons over there, which were already banned. These people will use anything at any time as an excuse.
But that's what I mean.
No.
When exactly did being unarmed in the face of an enemy it was a good thing?
Hatchet wasn't my butt, by the way. Well, maybe a little bit.
So, you know what happens? This is just amazing.
Oh.
There was, right after the Civil War, there were a couple of veterans. One was a general. There was a guy named William Conant Church and another guy named George Wood Wingate.
Yes, Kilgore, it's because the guns are black. So we should all have pink ARs.
Black guns matter.
Black guns matter. I like it.
I love it.
Yeah, black guns matter.
Black guns matter.
No, all guns matter.
Yeah. We got to start a Black Guns Matter thing.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Have you seen the open carry protests by some of the Black Lives Matter groups?
Nope.
at first, people are going to go, oh, no, Black Lives Matter, the army. Scrap that. You know what you didn't hear in those articles about the Black Lives Matter doing an open carry demonstration? You did not hear that it was a mostly peaceful event.
Wasn't a shootout?
It was an absolutely peaceful event. I support Black Lives Matter doing a open carry because it is peaceful. And because an armed society
Congratulations, Mike. Hashtag Black Guns Matter.
Thank you. Thanks, Mike. Because an armed society is, in fact, a polite society. So arm them.
Hey, that's a great name for a show.
We should do something like that.
We should.
Okay.
Moving right along.
Okay, moving around. And I'm out of headlines. Let's get back to the fun stuff.
Okay. So, a ways back, there were these two Civil War guys. Like I said, William Conant Church and George Wood Wingate.
Yeah.
And one of the things that they were lamenting was the fact of how poor a shot a lot of Civil War soldiers were.
Yes.
That the Union Army records found that it would take 1,000 rounds fired to cause one casualty on the opposite side.
Yeah,
just so
crazy numbers.
Right. And forgetting for the fact that it was Americans shooting at other Americans, which is never a good plan.
Yeah.
So... they were just discovering that people, they're
just bad shots.
The people were bad shots. And so what they decided was that they should try and promote, in case there was another need that they wanted to provide
the skills.
Promote skills, marksmanship, and everything else, because they recognized that should America ever need to defend itself again, that having people who knew how to shoot was probably a very good thing.
Generally speaking, yeah.
So now, do you know who William Conant Church and George Wood Wingate are?
Are they the two guys in the dogs playing poker? No.
So anyway, these two decided to form an association. And this was back in the 1890s.
An association?
An association of people that were going to help.
I'm intrigued.
To be able to protect the country by honing their skills with rifles. And as a nation. So the name of the organization they founded was, of course, the National Rifle Association.
Whoa, that took me off guard.
That's
really?
What it was.
So the whole purpose of the National Rifle Association was to
promote marksmanship,
promote
for defense
marksmanship.
of the country.
And what? Wait a minute. Wasn't it just these racist white guys trying to oppress black people? I thought that was what it was. No, as a matter of fact...
Now, here's the interesting thing. The first president was a Union Army Civil War general named Ambrose Burnside.
Burnside.
Now, do you know why he's famous?
I'm brewing up a joke, but go ahead.
Go for it. Try the joke. You might be right.
Because he's got sideburns?
Precisely.
No.
And that's why they're called sideburns.
Really?
Yeah, he had these big old mutton choppy big sideburns.
All right.
Because his name was Burnside, that's why they're called sideburns.
I was trying to be funny, but damn.
I had a feeling you were going to get there. I had a feeling. So there you go. Sideburns.
Okay. All right. So
now,
I know a lot of people like to say that the NRA was founded to arm black people to resist the Southern oppression, but that is actually not the case. I mean, it was a ancillary effect of the fact that the NRA did not discriminate on who should learn marksmanship.
Do you know they actually have a written mission? And again, this is not an NRA-sponsored show. I'm a life member, but I don't speak for them. I mean, all the disclaimer. But anyway, so their mission is, number one, to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States, which is a great start.
Oh, so they're a anti-American organization.
Yeah.
Okay.
2, to promote public safety, law and order, and the national defense. 3, to train members of law enforcement agencies, the armed forces, the militia, and people of good repute in marksmanship and the safe handling and the efficient use of small arms.
The bastards.
To foster and promote the shooting sports and to promote hunter safety.
Wow. I mean, that's an evil organization right there.
And you know what else is interesting? Everyone talks about, oh, they're just doing this for profit, blah, blah, blah. According to 2012, their revenue was $256 million, and they spent $254 million.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not a profit-mongering organization now, is it?
Oh. Now, granted, through times they have evolved into the and they're a political organization. Let's call them that.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's it. So now you have the mechanism that has always been there to help promote people to be able to take on their own defense, the defense of their homes, their communities,
Yep.
and their nation.
Yep.
And what does half of our nation turn around and do? Calls them terrorists. How in the hell you can turn around and call 5 million, and they're still doing it. They're still doing it.
I still stand by my statement that if the right people are calling you a terrorist, it's okay.
Well, yeah.
If ISIS is calling you a terrorist, that means that they're terrified.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? So as long as the right people are saying it. Now, unfortunately, a lot of people in our own government who are supposed to actually care about us are calling us terrorists.
Now, would you like to know another interesting factoid? Do you know where the first modern rifle range in the United States that was designed for long-range shooting competitions, it was put together by Wingate and Church, by the way. So that's in the 1800s. You know where it was?
No, where?
Creedmoor, Long Island.
New York?
New York.
How is this possible?
And do you know in the, as late as 1962, New York public schools had shooting teams?
Some places still
was the
do.
switch. 68 was the switch.
And when they started getting rid of all the shooting teams?
Yeah. Got rid of everything. Oh, that's when guns became bad.
You know what? Here's a good example. You know the old adage about first they came for this, then they came for that, and then they came for this? If they came for the guns in 68, they came for the football teams in high school in, 2000s. They just went right
to get rid of them.
Yeah, just because the hazard of football, because of football injuries.
Yeah.
So they're trying to eliminate all risk to life. And when you eliminate all risk to life,
You eliminate life.
you will, you eliminate.
What was that
life.
thing with that we played with? It was the guy who was saying that we're a nation of liberty, not a nation of safety.
Oh,
You played that. It was some radio guy.
yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I can't. It doesn't.
Yeah, you played it. We played it on the show a few weeks ago.
I know who you're talking about. It was talking about the actual problems with America and how the nuclear family has been disintegrated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I want to say Prager University might have put that one on. I can't remember. Sorry, Kilgore. No, as far as I know, you're not able to like comments in the chat. But if it makes you feel better, I like yours.
Well, of course you can like it. You can like it all you want. You just can't click on anything.
Sorry about that.
Quadrant Invention, the mother of invention. Okay, good stuff.
So I have a sidetrack here because that's what I do. There's a lot of talk about why we need firearms, and there's a lot of people, present company not excluded, who believe that we need our firearms to defend ourselves from a totalitarian government.
It's one of the reasons.
That's not my giant big concern.
Well, you know how I handle it? I say it is to defend ourselves against an enemy. Now, the enemy could be the guy who's coming in to steal my television, the guy who's coming in to rape my dog,
That's where I was going with this.
the guy who's coming in to round me up and take me to the camp, or the guy who's coming in to behead me for being an infidel. That was the part, squirrel. That was the other part of that frontline thing about the kids. The other thing was they're killing Taliban.
Oh.
They blow up. They do the same horrible things to the ISIS guys do to the Taliban that they do to the Christians.
Oh, yeah.
It's everybody.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They need to go.
So my point is that my biggest personal reason, well, let me rephrase that. My biggest personal reason for owning and using firearms is because I just like to go to the range and kill paper. It's just an enjoyable experience. And for anybody who hasn't done an Appleseed shoot, I highly encourage you to do an Appleseed shoot. Look those
What
guys
is
up.
an Appleseed shoot?
It's a marksmanship course where it's 3 days with a 10-22 and a couple bricks of 22, and they just make you shoot for 3 days basically straight. And by the time you're done, you're either going to qualify as marksman, which is the Army qualification, or you're not. And I found it to be not only a lot of fun, but very informative. It really takes a novice and brings them to marksman level, and it takes a marksman and brings them to a much higher level. Everybody benefits, and I'm definitely going to have to do another one. But my second biggest reason for keeping and owning firearms is the numbers on burglary, just burglary alone. It's a dangerous world. There are 3.7 million burglaries a year.
Wow.
Sorry for the cough there.
Say that again. How many?
3.7 million burglaries per year. And this is why...
That means that 1 person out of 10 is going to get burgled in a year.
No. Because we had this... I had asked you to bring up how many households there are in the United States, and you said it was like 119 million.
Yeah.
So it's just shy... It hovers around 3% of all households. So 3 out of 100 households per year are robbed.
Sure.
Granted, there's going to be a lot of houses that get robbed multiple times. But if you want to go strict numbers, let's extrapolate out 3% over 20 years. You live in your house for 20 years. You raise your kid, and in those 20 years, 3% of households get robbed.
Our house got broken into when I was 11.
So by the end of the 20 years, the likelihood of you not having been robbed or not knowing somebody who has been robbed rapidly approaches 0. I mean, it's that bad. And if you're in a neighborhood that has a known problem with such a things, I can see that number grows very, very, very quickly. And to couple this,
sure,
you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
You know the old saying that you don't need 10 rounds to kill
a deer.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You don't need 10 rounds to kill a deer. That's not what 10 rounds is for. You know what 10 rounds is for? You know what 30 rounds is for? Which, by the way, I saw the new 22 Magnum pistol, 30-round magazine. Yeah.
Okay.
I like it. The Hickok 45, he does a YouTube channel on, just does gun reviews and things like that. I thought it was funny because he was shooting this little pistol 22 and he's like looking at it going, am I out of rounds yet? Oh, no, got a few more. And for a guy like that to not know that he's, anyways, here's the reason why you need 10 rounds.
Okay, at least.
The likelihood of being burgled by more than one individual coming through your window, although the statistics don't necessarily agree, the range is between 25 and 65% of all burglaries involve 2 or more individuals coming into your house. That is why you need 10 rounds. The other reason you need 10 rounds is under stress. First time you've ever encountered this.
Oh, hell yeah.
You're going to be a bad shot.
Yes, you are.
You're going to miss most of your rounds. This is why it is important to have a firearm with a capacity. Yes, I'm throwing the papers around the studio.
That's awesome.
This is why you have a high or a standard capacity magazine. It's not because you want to go gangbanging and drive down the street and shoot up as many people as you can. It's because... Harrington
never sent us any swag.
Oh, I'm going to have to get on Harrington.
I was just thinking, because I was trying to tell him that he should start calling the AR-15 the home defense rifle.
Yeah.
Call it a home defense rifle, the AR-15 HDR.
Yep, the HDR. I like it.
Because that's the thing we're letting everybody else... okay, I covered that a long time ago. Let's just move on. Keep going.
No.
You got pretty bar graphs? And
I got bar graphs and everything.
It's like Ross Perot. Hey, I got a pie chart right here. I made him a sale. That's a useless skill, a Ross Perot imitation. Nobody even knows who he is anymore.
You remember that Mommy's Demand Hot Action video where the
information's locked down, the data set's locked down?
No, that wasn't what I was going to refer to, but that one was good too. The one that they did where the estranged wife is home alone and the evil husband is breaking down the door, and he breaks down the door and he comes in with a gun, and they're like, we need stronger gun control. And everybody was like, wait a minute, this is the exact reason why she needed a gun.
Yeah.
She could have put three through the door.
For you.
Yeah.
I have a quote for you. I do not love the bright sword for its sharpness, nor the arrow for its swiftness, nor the warrior for his glory. I love only that which they defend.
Oh, I like it.
And that's from Boromir, from J.R.R. Tolkien, Lord of the Rings.
I know that there is the argument out there that we live in a relatively safe country. If you live
For now.
And that is what the job of the police is for if you have a problem, you pick up the phone, you call the police, and they're there in 4 to 10 minutes, sometimes 30 to 60. But
Yes, Hatch Faramir. Sorry.
yeah,
Can't pronounce it right.
Hatch is throwing me off. Yeah.
Okay, you know what? Stop looking at the chat. Stop.
Oh. I completely lost my train of thought there.
I just noticed that. So, in that line, let me pick up the slack. Would you like a follow-up? We talked a couple weeks ago about, Shockwave Flash crashed. Wonderful.
You're on fire tonight. You got the autoplay again, and you got Flash crashing.
Okay. So, anyway, they, I guess America's First Freedom, which is a National Rifle Association publication, did a gun review of the Armitex P1, which everybody knows is the smart gun.
Smart gun?
Yeah, so
There's
here's some
nothing smart about those
highlights.
things.
They didn't want to publish it because of the law lurking in the New Jersey book, so it'll come out eventually. But here, this is, I forgot where I got this. Hotair.com, I think is where this came from.
Hot air. Well,
Hot
I'm
air.
full of.
Righty, so this was November. This was posted today.
Okay.
2 hours ago, actually. So this is hot off the press.
Oh. We got breaking news.
The Armitex pistol initially required a full 20 minutes to pair with the watch.
What?
Even with the aid of an IT pro trained in its use. Without pairing, the Armitex functions like any other handgun capable of firing by anyone. Once paired, a cold start, quote unquote, still requires a minimum of 7 push-button commands and a duration of 12 seconds before the gun can be fired. The pistol must be within 10 inches of the watch during startup. This slows and complicates the use of the pistol if one hand is injured or otherwise unavailable.
Holy cow. I had no idea it was that bad. I mean, that is unbelievably bad.
And this is for a short barrel 22.
How long?
Short barrel 22.
No, I mean, like
12 seconds.
12 seconds to pair it?
That's after it's paired. It was 20 minutes to pair it initially, and then 12 seconds for startup, 7 button pushes. Because that's going to go over really, really well when the guy's storming up the stairs.
Oh, my God. That's a murder machine is what that is. I mean, it's not going to save the person holding the gun, but it's certainly going to get him killed.
Yeah. Now, it also uses 22 shorts.
What?
Remember 22 long rifle?
Yeah.
22 shorts, a little
Shorts.
shorter. So you're talking about 750 feet per second with a 36 foot-pound. That guy's going to keep running. That's not going to knock him over.
That's a BB gun.
Just about.
Yeah, 22 shorts at 750 feet per second. Yeah, you're going to penetrate the flesh, but if sorry, if he's wearing anything, you're in trouble. You're in big trouble.
If it does anything other than go bang when you pull the trigger, you're dead.
Well, I'll run right out and buy one yesterday. Not. It would appear as though we're bumping up against a little bit of time here.
Yeah, we've got 3 minutes left.
3 minutes. So let's dive into our final thoughts because we got so many because we're very deep people.
Okay. We need to get, if we're going to be ready for what is coming, and somebody in the chat earlier, I think it was Mike Howling, Mike.
Gunny.
Thank you, Gunny. God, what did you put in my snark?
Just
I'm feeling dizzy. Why did you light candles? You smell like cologne. What's going on? I don't feel safe. Anyway.
yeah, it's a nice squirrel gun, those 22 shorts, yeah.
So, yes, ISIS is absolutely here. I mean, I kept saying when they're going to show up. I mean, when they show up to ready to do something.
Yeah.
Do you remember a couple months ago they had that Draw Muhammad cartoon comic and 2 of those chuckleheads showed up and didn't even make it into the door?
Nope. The officer that was injured in that was injured by a ricochet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's going to be fine.
Yep. But so what we need to do is that it's time that we take this threat incredibly seriously.
Yeah.
And a couple of things we need to do is, first of all, drop all this magazine stuff, crap, and whatnot. And we also need to get
Kilgore's making fun of you.
I know he is. 50 state national reciprocity, or constitutional carry, as we like to call it.
Yeah.
Because I spent a lot of time driving around New England. 3 New England states I can carry in.
Yeah.
3 I cannot.
Yeah.
And I bounce between all of them.
Which ones have the higher crime?
Right. So, exactly. Now, like, for example, I was down in the Boston area today. Boston is a very likely ISIS target.
Oh,
so I could be in Boston at any
again, you mean.
moment, and if something were to go down, what am I going to do? I'm going to reach for a pocket that has nothing in it. And it's just crazy. So this is so the idea that anyone could be in favor of gun control with the idea that a couple of guys with illegally smuggled fully automatic Kalashnikovs could be running around our country shooting up sports venues. The idea that gun control needs to happen is insane. It's absolutely insane. Those people are not going to go to Cabela's. They're not going to go to Dick's Sporting Goods.
No.
They're going to smuggle them in the country the same way they smuggle their own selves in.
Yeah, they're going to get them in Mexico and bring them up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's kind of,
Obama's
that's it.
going to sell them the guns.
That's it. You know what? We're going to have to make sure that we fight for the elected officials who are going to make us a safer country in reality, not in fantasy land.
I agree with that.
That's kind of my final thought on the matter.
So we're going to go just a second long here just because we're out of time and I have to get my final thoughts in. I'm going to share a story with you that just popped into my head because that's what I do. I'm a squirrel. Mm-hmm. I was sitting at my desk about a week ago. And as you know, at my desk, I have a security camera system so I can see what's going on outside the building. Yep. And something caught my attention off the corner of my eye on the security camera. So I'm looking at it going, did I just see somebody walk off camera there? So I'm sitting there and I'm staring at the camera very intently. It's very quiet. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning. And there's this loud crash in the other end of the building. I'm the only one in the building.
Okay.
It was at that moment that I was like, oh, crap. The person that I thought I saw is actually there, and he's coming into the building. And I stood up, and I went to go to the sound, source of the sound, and I took 2 steps, and I realized I didn't know what the hell I was going to bring with me. I have things at my disposal within arm's reach, but it was that moment I didn't know what to do. The moral of this story is you need to practice so that you don't have to think. And I was unprepared at that moment. Granted, there was nothing there. It was just something fell off a shelf. But I realized that I am unprepared, even in that situation. I mean, eventually I realized I had a pocket knife on my arm, on my hip, because I always have this stupid pocket knife hanging off my hip. But the moral of the story is you have to actually go through the motions of what to do so that when the time comes, you don't have to think about it. You just do it. And let's hope to God it never happens. And on that note, just remember, everybody, that if it's late at night and you're staring at that screen and you think you saw something and there was nothing there and you get all bummed out, just keep your chin up, your boots on, and your powder dry. Good night, America. I pooched that. Good night, America, again.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. So gallant
You're listening to Rebooting Liberty Radio Network, compelling and entertaining talk.
Don't touch that dial.